of you watching and paying attention to. They want you to understand that your voice absolutely matters, that your voice is critically important because they don't want to be forgotten. They want to actually restore what took place. One of the places that that black folks sought refuge 100 years ago was this church right here. This is Vernon AME. It was in this church basement right here. We'll get a shot right here. Let's go to this camera right here, folks. Stay right. Let's go to the other camera. This is Vernon AME right here. And at this church, in this church basement, where African Americans, guys, wrong shot. Come on. They were in this particular basement here. When those white domestic terrorists were descending on Greenwood, pillaging this area, killing people, beating them. I told you the story of Tim Madigan, writer with the Fort Worth Star-Telegram, who wrote his book, and he said he was just shocked to read about elderly black couples on their knees praying and white mobs putting guns to the back of their heads and blowing their brains out. Those were some of the stories that actually took place. And like so many other places across the country, during the days of Jim Crow, the black church certainly was a refuge for African Americans. Pastor Robert Turner is now the senior pastor of Vernon AME. He joins us right now, and so certainly glad to chat with you, Pastor. How you doing?
Well, how about you?
Doing great. So I got to ask you first and foremost, share with the audience what this church has meant for this community since its inception.
This church, Historic Vernon AME Church, and first of all, good to be on your show. I love your show. I watch it all the time. But this church is considered to be the grandmother of Greenwood. We are the oldest continuous landowner in the entire Greenwood district, and we've been here at this location since 1908. And during the Race Massacre of 1921, our superstructure was destroyed, but miraculously, our basement survived. And after the massacre, we rebuilt our sanctuary, and we still worship in the same one of folks who rebuilt in the entire Greenwood community. And today, she still stands as a remnant of what was once here throughout the whole area.
And we were talking earlier, share with folks again in terms of what happened on May 31st. On the early morning hours of June 1st, the role that this church played in being a safe haven for those who were trying to escape these white domestic terrorists.
Yeah, so during the massacre, when they destroyed over 1,256 homes and 600 businesses and 300 people killed and 10,000 folks made homeless in less than 18 hours, the first time bombs dropped on American soil, people sought refuge in the basement of our church. They came and they huddled up in our basement in the room that was not burned, and we still have that room today, and it's called our refuge room. And since then, once we rebuilt, our church was utilized by the local high school because their principal was a member here at our church, and we have been a place of refuge and safety for our entire community ever since. After COVID-19, we had a feeding program ministry that we just started on March 18th, and we've been feeding people every day ever since, and we just surpassed 370,000 meals out of our church doors. One of the few places in the whole state that have not closed since COVID-19.
There continues to be a lot of tension here in Tulsa between the black community and the white community. Whites make up 62% of this city, African Americans 15%. And this city and this state, of course, they created the commission in 2001, but they refused to deal with the economic aspect. In many ways, that mirrors what this nation has always done, and that is it wants to deal with everything but the economics. And talking to the only black city council member yesterday, she said that she's tired of trees being dedicated, benches being dedicated. She said if we don't deal with the money, then there's no real conversation. And so from your perspective, where does this city stand? And I keep hearing from people who say, until that happens, we are not going to stop.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that what we need from our city is some legislation and some ordinance passed. We have not had anything as far as reparations since the massacre, right? And it is past time that we stop, just saying apologies and we start having some advocacy and action behind that. And we have, I think right now, people in office that are willing to do that. We just need them to exercise that courage and to vote for reparations. And we need our mayor to sign off on that as well. And not just even locally. I'm a part of National African American Reparations Commission, so I support H.R. 40. And I'm a huge proponent of that. This nation has yet to repair the harm from her original sin, which is racism.
But you also have, though, folks within the black community where you have a lot of disagreement, where you have dissension. There are some who say they are in full support of the museum that the city has built. They'll dedicate on Wednesday. The other African Americans say they will not step foot in that museum. There are others who say some black folks have sold the community out. Some folks are standing with them. And so how are y'all dealing with that as well? Because, look, if you have internal dissension and black folks fighting one another, then you do not have a unified front in trying to fight a majority white city like Tulsa.
That's right, and that is problematic. I'm one that believes we can walk and chew gum at the same time. We can honor history and advocate for justice for history at the same time. For an example, when we had the Smithsonian African American Museum place in D.C., as beautiful as it is, nobody was saying that money should have been used for reparations. It was used for the museum, and we should have that. I think history is important. When the Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity chose to honor Dr. Martin Luther King, nobody said, well, that should just be for reparations. No, we need to honor Dr. King for what he has done, and so we can do both. We can honor our history and advocate for justice for our history at the same time. And I think that the more people that know about our history, to me, that is a way of evangelizing about the need for repair from our history.
But should the city also be mindful of, in essence, marketing this? And what I mean by this, and I said this on yesterday, and I said it on the panel today, black pain was created 100 years ago by the city now wanting to profit off of black pain. Is now black porn. And so it's problematic to me for them to now promote tourism to come to Tulsa. To come see the museum, to experience all of this in telling the story. They've traveled to Alabama and visited those places, Birmingham and Montgomery, where they've also marketed civil rights as well. But when you so you're making money. So hotels will make money, restaurants will make money, limousine companies, tour buses will make money, but this community not getting any of that money.
That's right. You get no argument from me. I vehemently agree that if this city is going to do right by the taxpayer dollars of black folk, not just today, but in 1921, the folks who had their houses burned down and the fire department didn't put out one fire, they paid taxes to the same fire department that watched their houses burn. They paid taxes to the same police department that didn't make not one arrest. We still pay taxes to support our district attorney's office that has yet to investigate the worst crime in our cities and our state's history. And so I absolutely agree that black people have been paying taxes in the government and in the country that has yet to given us full benefits of our tax dollars.
All right, then. What do you hope happens for Wall Street Black Legacy Fest? Their events end Monday, March 31st, news conference on Tuesday. What do you hope happens June 2nd?
I hope that, to go back to your original point, I hope that when people come here, even for the Legacy Fest, when people come here for the museum opening, I hope when they come here that they realize this is not just a tourist site. This is not Disneyland. This is still the largest crime scene in America that has never been investigated. So the ground that people are walking on, people are buying clothes and eating food and dancing to music right now. Blood is right here. And I'm reminded of the story in the Bible where after Cain killed Abel, God came and met Cain, and said, the blood of your brother cries out to me from the ground. And the blood of the people who were killed right here on Greenwood is still crying out. And so as folks are enjoying themselves, I hope they realize that all of this is sacred ground, and it's been made sacred by the blood of the martyrs. So when they come here, realize this is sacred ground and behave themselves in accordance. And on June 2nd, I'm going to be still here protesting. I go out to City Hall every week, going to City Hall with my Bible and bullhorn, demanding that this city repent and repair for what she did. Recognize the harm, confess the sin of racism and white supremacy, and repent from it and repair of it. And not just tomorrow, not next week, not next year, but now. Reparations now.
All right, Pastor Turner, we appreciate it. You sound like an alpha man right there.
Please.
I just want to let you
Number
know.
K
I just want to let you know.
K
I just want to let you know. You sound like an
You're
alpha
all right.
there.
You're all right for an alpha, by the way.
I'm just saying. You know, it's just what you sound like. So you know, you emphasize the alpha before Kappa and Psi.
Well, you know, I got a good Kappa man preaching for me on Tuesday night.
Who's that?
Jamal Bryant.
Yeah, he all right.
He coming. I think I got some alphas coming too. Matthew Watley.
Yeah,
is
you
Otis
do.
Moss.
Yes, he is. Yes.
Oh my.
And his daddy.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, don't get it twisted.
Oh my.
Yeah. You might have security, but don't get cut. All right, Pastor, I appreciate it.
Pleasure,
Thanks so
man.
much.
I love your show, man.
I
Keep up the
appreciate it.
great
Thank
work.
you. Thank you
All
very
right,
much.
all right.
Coach, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment.
Racial injustice is a scourge on this nation, and the black community has felt it for generations. We have an obligation to do something about it. Whether it's canceling student debt, increasing the minimum wage, or investing in black-owned businesses, the black community deserves so much better. I'm Nina Turner, and I'm running for Congress to do something about it.